Hello, my singing friends. It's great to see you here today. I'm really excited about today's video because I have with me a great friend and a very talented individual. And today we'll be doing our first interview here at the Toma Vocal Production channel. So stick around. I am really excited to share with you today a great friend of mine. He is extremely talented, Jonathan Austin. And if you are interested in this kind of content, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. And that way you'll be linked in with all of the new content that I'll be producing as we go forward. So let me just first say this. Jonathan, thanks for being here with me today. And
Pleasure. I'm glad to be with you. We're friends, and this is a great opportunity for us to talk about, what we both love, music and singing, performing.
absolutely. And I just feel so lucky that you will call me friend. I'm going to be really frankly honest here right now. I have been a huge Jonathan Austin fan even long before I met you in person. I'm just going to tell a brief little experience here right now. I didn't know you from Adam at that time, but I remember hearing you sing, and I have to admit that I'm pretty critical when I listen to singers. I hope that I've gotten better. Well, who's fooling anybody? I'm still critical. When I listen to singers, I just kind of pick it apart. And I remember hearing you sing, and I was weeping. It touched me so much. It was just, to my core. And my wife kind of heard me and she looked at me. She was sitting next to me. And I can still remember this as if it were yesterday, her just kind of squeezing my hand, just like, and then afterwards she just said, "That was amazing, wasn't it?" I couldn't even speak. I was so taken aback and touched by not only your vocal qualities, but the heart that you put into it.
My friendship's utmost zeal to try, he asked if I for him would die. The flesh was weak, my blood ran chill, but my free spirit cried, I will.
And so from that moment on, I thought, I want to get to know that person. I looked you up to find out who you were. And I feel very grateful today to say that we are friends. And
How cool is it that we ended up being such good friends? It's not surprising to me. I think our love of musical theater, and so it doesn't surprise me that we've gotten together. And I've had the opportunity to sing with you and to have you play for me, and your talent to me is extraordinary. And students that are in your studio are very blessed, very, very blessed to be able to work with you. So I'm grateful you're my friend too, not to mention your ability to teach, which, the one day my daughter said, yeah, I'm with this guy, he's teaching this class right now and he reminds me of you, Dad. And I'm like, oh, you think I'm like Devin Toma? I was so excited. So I guess we're fanboying for each other, and
there we
that's a
go.
good thing.
Well, enough about me. I want to talk about you tonight, and kind of about your vocal journey. Just maybe a few questions to get us warming up here. What inspired you? What do you remember in your life you thought, I want to be a performer? And let me just say right here, not only are you an incredible vocalist, but obviously gifted actor. Jonathan has multiple degrees, a PhD in theater as well. So you are a double threat, maybe even a triple threat. I don't know. Are you a dancer as well?
I would tell you a secret, but it would go all out over all the millions of people that are going to watch your content. But my bachelor's degree is in theater and dance. But what
Oh,
that really translated to was I had to take 2 dance classes. So I am not near the dancer that you are with your degree in musical theater dance.
well, tell me a little bit about when do you first remember thinking, I want to pursue that?
I just grew up singing, always loved to sing. And my father would put me on stage when he had a need for a child to be in a play. But then as I grew up in a children's theater program with my dad, and then there was a summer program when I got older, and always just loved to sing and perform. I didn't really get serious about it until college. I just thought, why don't I just study theater? It's what I love. So I got in the music program there as well at Ohio Wesleyan University, where I got my undergrad. So I got my first voice teacher, probably my junior year in undergrad, and sang with the choir, and did musicals at the university. And then I was pretty serious from there on out.
Wow. That was the first time you had formal vocal instruction was then in college?
Yeah, 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 and it was amazing for me because I was a natural singer and got a lot of positive criticism, um, just having not been taught. So I never really asked for vocal instruction. I had piano lessons and I took violin, but I didn't ever take vocal instruction until college, and it was so amazing. I mean, if you want a sincere plug for taking lessons, it just made a huge difference. I'd always done musical theater, and I'm a tenor. I have a high voice, and so once I got in the music studio with music people, everybody wanted me to do opera. And you can't, I don't think a person can sing opera just with a natural voice. Maybe Josh Groban comes close to that sort of a thing, but I'm sure he has taken a lot of vocal instruction as well. So with me, I couldn't do opera unless I worked. And so, yeah, it wasn't until college that I started my vocal training.
Just off the top of your head, do you know how many vocal instructors have you had throughout?
Yeah. So I'd won an undergrad, and then I left when we moved to Utah. I had an incredible vocal teacher there. Her name was Blanche Christensen. She has since passed away, but she was from the Abravanel School, and she was I don't remember numbers, but she was, I think, in her 70s and could still sing clear as a bell. Her high C was beautiful in her 70s. And she that my I didn't take it as seriously as I should have in undergrad, but when I was taking with her, it was purely because I wanted to continue to pursue singing, even though it wasn't what I was doing for a living. And so I had great opportunities with Blanche. I sang a concert in with her daughter, who was a brilliant singer, soprano. And we sang a concert at the beautiful Presbyterian church that's next to the Madeleine, not the Madeleine, but the one that's next to the Madeleine. Sang a recital there. Uh, Difficult content, things I wouldn't have normally sung. She really was pushing me to do the young artists, the Met auditions for young artists. And I just, again, I love how difficult, how challenging arias are. I just don't love to sing them. They're just I have to work. I have to think too hard. I'm in my head too much. So she was my second voice teacher, and then I didn't have another voice teacher until just last semester. I hadn't taken voice for a very long time, and then my daughter has been taking voice from Eric Hansen at Southern Virginia, and I really like what he's done with her. And he's been having a lot of success online. And I did not like the idea. I've never been taught by a tenor. My college professor was baritone, and then I was taught by soprano. And I, like you, am very picky about tenor voices. And so, but I loved him and what he was doing with my daughter. So last semester we did online voice lessons. I have not started it up again because of the time. I want to work if I'm going to take lessons, and it's hard to find the time. So I don't want to lose my voice. I'm 55. I guess I just said that over the internet. 55, and you start to lose things. I get tired much more quickly, and lessons make a difference. I'd say to all of you listening out there, find a teacher that works for you, and stay in the studio. Work. It's a muscle, and you have to work it out, or it gets tired. Breathing is hard, and you have to keep working on breathing, or you don't get the breath support that you need.
And it's easy, I think, as the longer you're out of the vocal studio, it's easy for bad habits, either old habits or bad habits even, to kind of creep back in just slowly. and it can shut down a few things, because I've experienced the same thing going back and taking some vocal coaching from a person here in Virginia, and it's just, oh, it's like, oh yeah, that's where that placement went, or
Exactly. I sang when I was at Southern Virginia University. I sang in an a cappella group with a bunch of college kids, and then myself and a music professor, and loved singing it. It was all guys, and so I was singing soprano stuff, and that pop music that we sang for a long time did damage. Just bad habits. So yeah, I had to break all that from singing pop for so long.
do you have one or a few vocalists that have just been an inspiration for you?
I think that it's funny, the vocalists I listen to that I'm most impressed with tend to be female.
Mm.
I like versatility. That's what I like the best. Typically, those that are most gifted across genres are trained, because it's really difficult. You can't do the classical stuff unless you're trained, and then having that classical training allows you to do other things. So I'm a big Kristen Chenoweth fan. I think she can do anything. Do you know Linda Eder?
Oh,
Uh, um, in the world of classic tenors, if the three tenors, I'm a Placido Domingo guy. Pavarotti, he was so edgy. There were times when no one could sing like him, but there were other times when it didn't quite get there. Domingo, I think, had that perfect kind of natural sound, and so if you're picking an opera guy, that's probably who I would pick. Um, um, I imitate Mandy Patinkin often. Not that I think he has the best vocal quality. I mean, well, he is Mandy. Mandy's Mandy, right? And so
absolutely.
I like to imitate him. That from doing impersonations, I like to do Mandy. But yeah, Mandy, I'm impressed with his acting ability, and he's an amazing performer.
And that's what I was just going to say. And that doesn't surprise me that you say that, because, having, like I said, my critiquing a vocalist, clearly your voice is so much more versatile and beautiful, quite honestly, to listen to than Mandy Patinkin's is. But I can see where he would be an inspiration, because he is such a phenomenal actor that
Yep.
when he sings, even though, I mean, it's good singing. I'm not saying that it's bad, right? But it's made up for in times 10 because of the heart and the commitment that's,
So true.
and again, to the story that I told of you before, it was not only the beauty of your voice. I've heard many beautiful voices, but the interpretation of that piece of music coupled with the beauty of that voice just overwhelmed me. For me, that is the summit that we're all trying to get to as vocalists, is not just to sound beautiful, but to really emote and to elicit emotion in others, right? Maybe you could even share a little bit. How do you approach a musical piece to really get it to communicate, right? It's more than just learning the lyrics and the melody. I try and always tell my students that, that's a basic expectation I have. You've got to do that at least, but then we've got to build off of that if we're really going to communicate through the music.
For sure. So I'll confess that I tend to bend music instead of bending acting. I'm not saying I think you should, but I do. I'm very picky about the way I sound, and I can hear myself when I'm singing, and if it's not perfect to my standard, it bothers me. My wife is kind of my hero of act first, sing second. She'd be the first to tell you that she's worked her tail off to be able to sing, but as an actress, that came naturally to her. So she's kind of my motivation to try to marry the two things. And I would just say it's really theater training, right? For me, it's about intention, motivation. what is this character want? And you know, it doesn't necessarily, the great thing about singing a musical theater piece in a recital or in some kind of performance is you can take it out of context and make up your own decisions about intent of performer and who are you singing to. And so I think it's really important to apply some intellectual analysis to a piece as well, because the two things blend, right? So you want to breathe where it makes sense for the intention of the piece, not just breathe because you're out of air. So there's musical reasons to sustain across a measure, and then there's also theatrical reasons to sustain your breath across a measure.
What would you say to singers who are just kind of getting started? I think all of us, you know, we hit those brick walls every once in a while, right? When we just, I don't know if it's a technique we struggle with getting, or range, or sometimes we get criticism, right? I mean, that's part of the learning process, and that criticism can sometimes hurt at times. What have you found that keeps you going, that helps you get past those?
It's funny. I mean, because I haven't made a career of performing. It's opportunities to perform that push you to do those. When I get a chance, when I have to do something that's hard, but I'll give you an example. I've sung some of the tenor pieces from Handel's Messiah. Those are challenging for breath and the melismatic, the runs that I don't do well. That's something I don't, when I hear people do those pop runs, I'm so impressed by those because I can't do them. I'd love to learn how to do them, but I can sort of do the classical version of them. And so you have a chance to sing it, you're hitting a wall because, my goodness, how do you hold your breath? Hold the breath and have that breath support to sustain the moving notes. And then you just push and learn. And if you're in a studio, you have a chance to have your teacher help you through those and make good suggestions and get you in the right place. So for me, it's been driven by opportunities to perform. I have to do something. And so I just work on the challenging parts until I can do them to my satisfaction. And usually if it's my satisfaction, it's going to be to the audience satisfaction. You asked, and I'll throw this in too. I got the opportunity to do Secret Garden too when I was at Southern Virginia University, and I love to sing that role, and especially Lily's Eyes, the duet. You and I sang that together, and
Will you do it again? Because at that time I did have real phlegm. I
remember that I had actually never seen you kind of concerned about singing before. You're always very confident, and I remember that day you were really nervous about that. But we do need to sing that again. We need to figure out how to do the live performance online so we can do that piece again, because I love Lily's Eyes. I just think it's, and the quartet in that piece, I think that's my wife's favorite musical, Secret Garden, and she was kind of one and out, you know, Lucy Simon. So
beautiful music on that.
Beautiful.
Any advice that you would give to vocalists out there?
Find a studio, find a teacher that you know, you can't always just judge a teacher on liking their voice,
right?
Because not all great vocal teachers are great singers. All mine have been great singers, but I certainly am aware of amazing vocal teachers that are not good singers at all. So you've got, I think you got to take it seriously enough that you try multiple studios until you find a voice teacher that can speak to you. Even if you're a natural singer, you're gonna expand your ability and your range so much if you're being taught by someone competent. The last thing I would say too is, if you're a musical theater person per se, open your mind, because I think that classical training provides the best it provides the best platform to learn technique, I think. Anything you disagree with, Devin, you can just edit out.
But I would agree with that. I mean,
yeah.
Excuse me. Dance is the same way, right? I don't care.
Ballet's it, right?
Ballet is the foundation.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that. I think, opera training. I mean, not opera, but classic training is like the ballet for dance. And so you're going to be a better pop singer. You're going to be a better musical theater singer. You're going to be a better jazz singer. You're going to be better at everything if you have that foundation.
Great words to live by. Thanks, Jonathan, for joining with us today. Really appreciate it.
What a pleasure, Devin. Thanks for asking me. I'm really excited to listen and watch the people that you interview in the future, and to be an audience member rather than a participator. So thanks for the opportunity, and all blessings to you going forward.
Thanks. Appreciate it.